Hi everyone, it's Stu here from 3B. Once again we're looking at the Samsung Developer Conference and the release of the Infinity Flex display, which will be used on the upcoming new fancy phone from Samsung, which we're likely to see next year. Whether that's going to be called the Galaxy X or the F or whatever you want to call it, who knows what it will eventually be called. But one of the things that I wanted to highlight, there's a few actually if we sort of scroll back, and the first thing that I wanted to highlight for you guys is it's very clear that the device itself will not close sort of flush. You know, there's going to be a gap between either side of the main screen, so so we're going to end up with this sort of gap between, which obviously Samsung are making a thing of, so we're not going to sort of cry foul when the device is released. It'll be interesting to see how that works and appears, whether, you know, they're obviously trying to make it become more of a design element and a design decision, which obviously it is, because the technicality of maybe folding it completely flat is too much. But yeah, so that's the first thing I wanted to sort of point out, that it's certainly not a device that's going to be a clamshell that's going to sort of have a distinct gap sort of through it when it's closed, as rather than when it's fully open. The other thing I wanted to mention, as per the title of this video we've got on YouTube right now, is the fact that we're going to have people complaining of the fact that there's going to be quite a lot of chin on this device. Certainly on the front side there's going to be at the top end and the bottom, and I know we have this cover that's hiding the design, so they can do a proper launch next year and wow us with the design, which I imagine would be much like all the other sort of design, the design language that's being sort of taken through from the S series of phones. I would imagine we would more likely see that being used on this much larger device. So that's being hidden somewhat by this sort of case that they have, so they can show the display but not show the device itself. However, having said that, there's still going to be a significant amount of chin at the top and bottom of the device on the front side. If you look at where this screen is, it's in the middle, set in the middle, and then if we play the video when he opens it up, you will see that that sort of smaller screen is in line with sort of the middle here on the left hand side. So the smaller screen sort of fits in within this sort of section here on the front, and therefore what we're likely to see is a device that's still and we can ignore the sharp edges that we have on here from this case that's disguising the design, but we're going to have a device that's still going to have on the front side quite a lot of chin. You know, there's still going to be a good amount of chin at the top and bottom, and it makes me wonder how well they're going to make that work. You know, there's going to be a lot of real estate of plastic, of glass, or of whatever that's not going to have a lot of function. They may pack it with cameras. I would imagine that this device would have very high quality cameras on the front, on the sort of the smaller display side, and then obviously when it opens up, those same cameras would then be used too. There is talk, I believe, of Samsung developing a small camera behind the display, so that could be used sort of for video conferencing, Skype and whatnot. But maybe, just maybe, they're going to use a really high quality camera that they can then sort of occupy that within the design element at the top part of this screen. It just makes me wonder how it's going to to look and feel, considering that we've got so used to now with screens covering the entire area of the device in which we're holding, and it would seem somewhat at odds to then sort of take a real step back to then have this device that sort of on the front side has a much smaller screen and a very large chin, and a very large sort of top section, you know, for the sake of having a much larger display on the inside. And then finally, the other thing I wanted to mention is the fact that you know, this is the Samsung Developer Conference, so they're obviously showing people the screen and the real estate, so developers can then develop their apps for this much larger screen. However, it makes me wonder how many developers are actually going to develop apps that work specifically for this screen. Now, it could just be a simple transition from using apps that are designed for tablets, and it just sort of moves things around a bit, so it's not too much of a problem. Hopefully, that's what Samsung will do, is that you know, they'll make it as easy as possible, so it's just almost as easy as clicking a button. But it just makes me wonder how many developers are going to actively develop for this device, whether we're going to see just, you know, tablet versions for this device being used for the much larger display and nothing more, and those that aren't optimized will end up with borders and so on. So it does make me wonder whether a lot of developers will do that. And then of course there's the cost of the device as well. You know, this is not going to be a cheap device, so the actual audience for those that will be using this device is going to be pretty small. You know, this is going to be a very expensive device, probably around, you know, at least $1,500, I reckon. That may even equal the same in pounds as well. So my money is on around about $1,500 for this device. And when you consider how many people are rightly balking at the cost of, you know, the frequency we're seeing of $1,000 phones coming through, courtesy of Apple and of course Samsung with the Note 9 coming through, it makes you wonder sort of who's this for. You know, it's obviously for the loyal, those that love and adore gadgets, and no doubt I will get one. But the audience is going to be very small, so it makes you wonder how many apps are going to be developed specifically for the use of, you know, both the front and back screens combined. So we will see. It's early doors, of course, early days. We'll see more about the design next year, I'm sure, and learn more about what the device will do and what it will bring. But let me know your thoughts. What are you excited about? What do you think they will put in on the top and bottom of the chin that we will see? You know, do you feel that we're going to see something unique on this top and bottom, on the chin of this device and at the top? Or do you think it's just going to be sort of left with black glass and nothing much else? Let me know your thoughts too on the price and whether you're excited by it, whether you're excited more about another foldable device, foldable screen, much larger screen device that's coming out by other manufacturers too. So it's exciting. It's exciting to finally see this out in the wild. But let me know your thoughts. If you found this video of interest, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks, guys.